Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Crendor, and today I'm going to be painting for a bit in kind of a Bob Ross style, where we're just going to be talking very quietly and working on this Maw-Crusha that I've been painting in my off time. So here he is right now. I've been painting him the Fang. I don't know if you can actually see that, but it says the Fang. And I've been painting underneath, painted the sides a bit, the other side, tail, and I've still got a little bit to do, but for the most part, I just want to get everything really covered in the blue paint. I do have a lot of little white spotty areas that I'll have to go over again. But aside from that, he's coming along pretty nicely. So we'll shake the paint. Open it up. Wet the brush a little bit. I've been contemplating getting a new microphone, one that can pick up smaller sounds better, but I could also probably just adjust the microphone sensitivity on this microphone, and I think it would pick it up pretty well. So I'll likely just try that at first. I've also been thinking about doing different camera angles, like possibly more of a top-down angle. And I don't know, I could still keep this side camera because I think it's nice, but I'm curious how many of you actually do look at the side camera, or if it's worth having, but I kind of like the multi-view. Maybe if it's like a different angle than it's at right now, but we'll see. Right here. I mainly just want to get in and get all those spots that I missed when I painted the other day. Just like that. There we go. I'm also trying to experiment with different styles of ASMR on the channel. Things like no talking in some of them, while with others I do talking. And maybe occasionally ones with very minimal talking. But I wanted to make this one more of a discussion-based ASMR video. So I'm kind of just spreading the paint out so it doesn't clump up in one area, even though I've heard from a lot of different painting things and all that you're supposed to just do like this, just really simple strokes to kind of cover everything. But I'm not gonna be winning any awards here or anything, so I don't really mind doing my own less practical style, I guess you could say. Taking a look around. A little bit in here. My plan is also to paint this guy entirely this color. Then I'm going to dry brush a dark gray, and then I'm going to dry brush a lighter gray. And actually, prior to dry brushing, I'm going to cover him in Nuln Oil to make him a tad darker, and then make sure everything pops a bit more. So let's see, I gotta get back here a bit. This is pretty much my second layer for a lot of this. So I'm trying not to do 3 layers. So I know it's the common thing you learn when you get into Warhammer painting is 2 thin coats. So I always make sure to water down my paint. I'd also like to know what type of noises you enjoy from me painting like this, whether it's the brush strokes or moving it around, or from the building videos, whether it's cutting the plastic or piecing it together. It's actually kind of funny because a lot of times when I'd paint off stream or when I'm not making a video or something like that, I would paint to Bob Ross, and it made me realize how relaxing just watching somebody paint can be. I think painting is just a very meditative type of activity. You could say the same about drawing. But I think what I really enjoy about this is that it's a I don't want to say functional, as that doesn't make any sense. It's more of like there's multiple activities stemming from the same activity. So what I mean by that is you have to cut these guys out of their sprues, then you have to glue them together, then you have to prime them, then you have to paint them, and you can either display them or you could play the game, which I've actually gotten very into playing the game. And I know I keep bringing up how I'm going to be doing battle reports, and I'm still working on that. I do want to make sure before I do the battle report, however, that a lot of my stuff is painted, which is one of the reasons I thought of doing this, because it gives me a little more incentive to paint, in addition to creating really chill content, or non-content, if you will. And a lot of times when I stream and do this, it can be less relaxing, because I have to constantly kind of talk and focus on reading the chat and entertaining. But with something like this, I can focus less on the entertaining part and just kind of going at my own pace, as well as putting my finger on the slightly dried paint. So I'm going to correct that happy little accident. Once I'm done painting him in all the areas I need to paint, I'm also going to go back and use the primer color, which I believe I used Wraithbone, and go back over all the areas I accidentally painted over, like all these spikes, these spikes, these spikes, and just kind of correct a lot of those areas. So a lot of this guy is just covering him in paint and then correcting those mistakes you made while covering him in paint with more paint. So a lot of painting, but that's all right. I also got some new paint brushes, which are actually the same ones, because I really like these, but I messed these up a lot by not taking care of them that well. So with the newer ones I got, I'm planning to clean them properly. I'm also very excited to, like I said, do my battle report style videos. And if you don't know what that is, a battle report is essentially just playing the actual Warhammer game. And so it's a technical report of the battle. But the way I'm gonna do it is add my own spin to it. And give it more of a non-content style vibe. Just kind of have fun with it, because really, in the end of the day, it's about having fun. That's why I got into doing Warhammer in general. I had a lot of fun back when I actually did it in 8th grade. And I always wanted to actually play the game. And I never got the opportunity until recently. And it's I think really enjoyable. It can definitely be rage-inducing, much like Blood Bowl, but you do have a little more strategic control compared to a game like Blood Bowl. Like I said earlier, I'm not overly concerned about hitting other areas here, because I mainly just want to cover him in paint, and then I can correct all the places, or I can correct everything later on. I saved his face for almost last here, since I didn't know if I wanted to paint it the same color, but I think I do now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, which honestly is a pretty important life lesson, which is just doing things. There are a lot of things in life where you put off doing something until the last minute. And I think most people are like that. I'm still like that with a lot of things. But I used to put off things like making videos, going to the gym. But then I just kind of found the motivation. And once you find the motivation, you just have to take advantage of it. And sometimes you just have to do it even without the motivation. I always like to bring up my Fishing with Crendor video series where I interview people. And it'd been about, I want to say, 6 or 7 months since I said I was going to start it. And I still hadn't started it. And one day, I just said to myself, what if I just do it? And it was as simple as that. And I did. And that was all I needed to kind of get the ball rolling. Because after that, I just kept doing them and kept doing them. And now I'm over 50 episodes of Fishing with Crendor. That's probably a good noise now that I think about it. Let's get the other side. Tiny bit more. And that's kind of what I have to do with things like my battle reports I keep talking about. Because I really want it to be good, but at the same time, it's not going to be perfect. And once you get the first one out of the way, you learn from doing that. And so part of me just wants to do that, because the first time you do anything, it's not going to be as good as the second time you do something, or the third or the fourth. And that's okay, because that's all learning is. It's like if you were to go into a role-playing game and you already had max level stats. And sometimes things just turn out even better. Like what Bob Ross said about happy little accidents. There's a lot of times where I'll make a painting mistake and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna fix this, and then I realize I can make it into something else, like war paint, if I make a little marking incorrectly, which I've done on a lot of my Saurus guys. Or like here, if I try to be really in depth and not paint his nose ring or other little areas. It doesn't bother me too much. It makes more work later on, so I have to go back and cover it up. But I'd rather make sure I've hit every little area with the base paint, so that I don't have to worry about that again. And I kind of like touching up stuff anyway. So now that I'm getting pretty close to the end of this video, feel free to suggest, really just suggest anything you might want to suggest, comments, concerns, suggestions. Just let me know what you think you'd enjoy seeing from painting or building or playing the game. In fact, I could even play a game of Warhammer and not talk while I do it, and you'll hear a lot of dice rolling ASMR, which could be pretty fun. Or I could just do a dice rolling ASMR video in general, which might not be a bad idea. I kind of like that. I need to get a little in there. This brush is already kind of ruined, so I don't mind too much. So I just gotta get back there a little bit. A little bit there, tiny bit more. Okay, that should be good. So obviously I do have some other spots I still have to paint. But for the most part, I've hit a lot of the main areas. There's also this area, but I'd rather come back to that later. And there he is right now. So he continues his path down, becoming very blue, and hopefully starts looking more and more like what I want him to look like in the grand scheme of things, which I do have a reference picture of what I'm going for, which is like I said, a lot of gray. So one of the grays I want to use is the Fenrisian gray, which is like a bluish kind of gray. So I want him to kind of be a blend of like a blue and a gray and just kind of pop all from that. So this blue right here is going to be the darkest blue, well, probably the darkest color in general on him. That's outside of the Nuln oil that I'm going to use on him once I get him completely painted blue. A little back here. Alright, that should be good for today. So like I said, I'll just go over these with Wraithbone later on, or I can even go over it with just The actual teeth color I'll use eventually, so I might even save things like teeth and stuff like that for last, but... That's gonna be it for now. So thank you for watching. If you're new here, subscribe. Click the bell to be notified. Check out all the links below the stream. And if you want to see any other videos, I've got videos of me building Skinks and a video of me building the Stegadon part of my Stegadon. So let me know. Again, all your thoughts, comments, concerns, etc. Okay. Okay. See ya. Now I gotta go walk over there to turn it off.